Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to Hiring Hacks with me, Mike Minnis of 2M Legal and 2M Employment Solutions. I hope you're all well and preparing for the festive season. Only 10 days until Christmas Day. So this time in 10 days' time, we'll probably be tucking into or preparing to tuck into our Christmas dinner. Hope all are well. So this is Hiring Hacks Q&A live, and the purpose of these sessions, this is the third Q&A that we've run in the series, and the purpose of the sessions is for those companies or those individuals that are responsible for hiring within their companies and they're currently struggling. What we're going to cover today, unless there is any questions, and like it says down the bottom of the screen there, if you do have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat on both on my right hand side, but the chat may well be somewhere else on your screen depending on where you're watching it, because we are on LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube this afternoon. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and it's Friday, so ready for the weekend. We'll just wait a few moments for people to join, and then we'll crack on. If there is no questions, what I'm going to cover today is we're going to look at the talent landscape for next year. It's been a challenging year, 2023. We have seen various challenges in hiring, particularly niche talent. And so what I want to cover is look at what's kind of happened during 2023 and kind of the years leading up to. And then, what we can do to start preparing ourselves for the year ahead, 2024, and how to make that a good year from your perspective, from a hiring point of view, being able to make your hiring process more efficient and more effective, and hopefully cost you a lot less money in doing so as well. So if anybody wants to pop in the comments where you are watching from, or just say hi, that would be fantastic. I think, as there is no questions as yet, we will crack on. So I'm just going to share my screen. And here we go. So give me one moment. Okay, and away we go. So we're looking at the talent landscape for 2024. So let's get into it. What we're going to cover today, and we're going to fly through some of these things. We only have half an hour. There's a lot to talk about in half an hour. So I'll go through, and if anybody wants any clarification on anything, then please let me know. But we're going to look at the current landscape, where we are currently, leading up to the end of 2023, how things are lying, the considerations for 2024, actions that you can take now, and if you're still around at the end, then we have an extra special gift from ourselves at 2M. So the reason why you're here today was probably going to be one of these 5 reasons: that your recruitment process is either taking too long, you need to reduce your staff attrition, you want better quality options when recruiting, you want to reduce your recruitment spend perhaps, or you just want to you need to fill those gaps in your recruitment process. It could be any one of those 5 things. Just very briefly, this is no pitch whatsoever, so I just want to very briefly tell you about who I am. My name is Mike Minnis. I'm the managing director of 2M Employment Solutions, which is a fixed price recruitment solutions provider, basically an advertising reseller, job board advertising reseller, and also managing director of 2M Legal, which is a niche legal recruiter, boutique niche legal recruiter. I'm also a host of the Law According to podcast, of which we've had 9 episodes. If you've not seen them as yet, please check out 2mes.co.uk, and you can listen to them on there, or you can also catch them up on our YouTube channel, which is YouTube/2M Legal. I have 21 years, approaching 22 years in the recruitment industry, and throughout this the next 12 months, what my aim is to help at least 100 employers improve their recruitment process. So let's have a look where we are currently. So this is the talent landscape as things lie, and what we've got here is kind of job vacancies. The orange line is job vacancies currently being advertised or being advertised over this period, and the unemployment rate country average is the white line. As you can see, this area around here is where the pandemic kind of kicked in. But since then, we've had a steady increase in job advertising, a sharp increase in job advertising. And this has led to the massive talent shortage that we're seeing at the moment. So unemployment is up slightly, but still the talent shortage is still pretty much the same. Now, 2024, we anticipate this becoming a shorter gap between the unemployment rate and the number of jobs advertised. However, there's still a candidate-driven market, a candidate short market is how we would describe it in the recruitment industry. This information, by the way, thank you very much to TRN, the recruitment network. This is where I've got this graph and this information from, so I appreciate that. James Osborne and his team is where I've got that TRN for reference. So it presents challenges ahead for employers. And how do we face those challenges? So what I'm going to go through is basically a process of what you need to consider for 2024 and looking at where your gaps are in your process. So this is an overview of what I believe to be the recruitment process: sourcing, interviewing, onboarding, and retaining staff. All counts towards your recruitment process. And this is going to be a little bit of a whirlwind because we do only have half an hour in total, but these are the key points to consider. There's much more that branches out from every single one of these, but this is like a skeleton of the overview of your process and where you need to look, review. So firstly, when we're looking at your recruitment process, your sourcing process, you want to have a balance of proactive and reactive within that. So if we look first of all at the proactive, so within the proactive, you want to have a clear avatar of what your ideal candidate looks like. You want to have a process that helps you build and nurture a candidate pool of potential future hires. And then the place where you're going to get these from is places like LinkedIn, networking events, and what I call silver applicants. Silver applicants, silver or bronze applicants are people who've applied, gone through the process with yourselves in the past, but have been beaten to the post. Maybe they're the second or third choice applicant. They're still great candidates, good matches for your business, maybe not particularly right for that, or maybe just weren't quite the top applicant at the time. Now, your reactive is your adverts, LinkedIn adverts, job board advertising, CV database searches. You need to, as I said before, what you ideally want is a mixture of both. So as a business, to have a good sourcing process, have an even mix of proactive and reactive. And as I say, there's much more that we can talk about within that, but this is just an overview and a kind of, like I say, a skeleton view at this moment in time. Now, the second part we're looking at is the interview process and things to consider within the interview process. And the key aspects for me is one, candidate journey, absolutely essential. When you're in a candidate short marketplace, it is absolutely essential that your candidate's journey is as easy as possible, as simple as possible, not overcomplicated in any way. So consider the candidate journey. Once you have people at an interview stage, what are your pre-interview communications like? Do you have a high dropout of interviews, for example? And if so, you may want to review what your pre-interview communications are like and your confirmation. Your structuring of the interview. Now, this sounds fairly simple, but interviews can be structured in many, many ways. The key thing to consider here, in my opinion, is what outcomes do you want? Well, the outcome you want is somebody who's right for your role. And therefore, consider that when looking at the actual structure of your interview. Does it allow the candidate does it allow you to get the most out of the candidate? Does it allow the candidate to present themselves in a way that is allowing you to actually properly assess them for the job that you are interviewing them for? So, for example, somebody who is an entry-level developer, for example, is going to be a completely different interview to, apologies about that, to somebody who is, say, for example, a CTO. And then post-interview, what is your post-interview follow-up feedback process? Everybody that attends an interview with you should get follow-up and feedback, so without fail. Next part of the process, we're looking at onboarding. Sorry, I've gone one too far here. So let's see if we can just go back a step. There we go. So onboarding, first part of onboarding, everybody, well, not everybody, sorry, a lot of people would consider the onboarding process to start at the pre-start or start date. It actually starts from the offer management. So from the time you've interviewed your candidates, you've established your number one candidate for the role. We're now looking at the offer management. It's about making that offer in the right way, making sure the offer is presented in a way that actually makes it attractive to the candidate. Ultimately, there may well be a negotiation and there may be a little bit of wiggle room, but it's got to be presented in a way that allows that, rather than, if you massively lowball a candidate from the off, you're damaging your reputation and your chance of actually securing that talent is highly reduced. So consider your offer management process. Pre-start, again, generally, depending on what industry you're in, people, good talent, unless they are not currently working, will have a notice period, generally of a month. Some industries will be 3 months, some will even be 6 months. So consider what your process is during that pre-start time. How do you engage with your new hire? Making them on board, and the ideal scenario is that person feels like a member of the team before they even enter the building, before they've even started. Then we move on to your start. So the actual start date, making sure that somebody feels welcome, making them feel part of a team. If you've done the pre-start correctly, then that should already be in place. And then moving on to the early days, kind of first 3 months. The early days can be the first 3 months, can be the first week, can be the first 6 months. The way I see the early days is from the moment that somebody starts until they are up to speed with what they're doing. That's what I consider the onboarding period. Now that would vary, and depending on industry, depending on your own individual company and your own expectations. But having those expectations clear from day one is very, very key as well. And then finally, you've got the actual team manager, the person they're reporting into, and then also their team themselves, whether they're managing a team or a part of a team, and so their peer group, making sure that everybody understands there's a new starter in the building, this is their role, this is, and so everybody appreciates exactly where you are with this particular individual, and there's no kind of uncomfortableness. You spent a lot of money getting this talent on board. Let's make sure that they don't drop out from the offer stage onwards. And then finally, retain, the retaining process. Now, I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. As a recruiter, we don't get involved too much in the retention, but I think it is key from a company's point of view to understand where things can potentially fall out. So these are the key aspects of retaining your staff: having a positive work environment, competitive compensation and benefits, promoting flexibility and work-life balance. And that, when I say promoting flexibility and work-life balance, that is, it's actually believing in your flexibility and work-life balance policies, or not necessarily, sorry, I say believing, not believing, actually putting them into action and demonstrating them. Because a lot of companies will have a flexibility policy or a timing policy, but it's actually working to that and actually having that as part of your culture within the business. Professional development, opportunities for individuals to advance their learning, and finally, established clear career paths within your organization. So these are things to consider, and the action that you can take right now is to thoroughly review your current situation. Consider each of those 4 areas that I've just discussed, and to establish where the gaps are within that process. When recruiting, most people will consider the sourcing and maybe the interviewing process. Very few, from a recruitment point of view, will consider the retention process. So, sourcing and interviewing is very, very important. The sourcing part is crucial, but we've got to look at the whole process to understand exactly where the gaps are and where we can improve moving into 2024. As I say, that talent war, if you like, the battle for great talent is still going to be there. You want to stay one step ahead of your competitors. Understand where you need to reduce the gaps. So I'm going to whiz through these, but this is the sort of things you need to consider. If you'd like a copy of this, I'm more than happy to send it out to anybody who would like that. Just pop in the comments, yes, please, and I'll send you a copy of this current situation. And it just gives you a little overview of each of the 4 areas and whereabouts you currently are: needs urgent attention, getting by, or a superstar. So, and like I said, I'm just going to quickly whiz through each of these. I'm not going to read all of these because this will take quite a while, but consider these areas as you're reviewing your process, because it's and be honest with yourself as well, because if you're not honest with yourself, you're going to continue getting what you currently have, and if you're not happy with what you currently have, then you need to be honest with yourself and actually be able to understand where you are to be able to fix those issues. And if you can't be objective, then maybe get somebody else to review it. Ask your people within your business what their thoughts are. And you can do this in a number of ways. You can either do it up front and actually have it completely transparent, or you can do it on an anonymous survey on something like SurveyMonkey or something along those lines. If anybody's got any questions, as it says at the bottom of the page, feel free to ask at any stage. So, I mentioned at the top that I have a free gift for everybody attending the Hiring Hacks. Our Hiring Hacks, by the way, will continue into the new year. We will be back. This will be the last one for 2023. We will be back in January. We are every other Friday at 1 o'clock. So fortnightly at 1 o'clock, Hiring Hacks Q&A. Please bring some questions along. It'd be great to tackle some questions. Now, our gift from 2M to yourselves is actually, basically it's my time. What we'd like to offer you is a completely free, there won't be any pitches or anything like that, half-an-hour review of a part of your recruitment process. Now, we can't review the whole of your recruitment process in half an hour, but based on the information that we had before, the sectors that we had before, reviewing your current process against there and offering you some solutions to improve that. If you would like a half-an-hour Zoom call with myself, this will be done in January. Please drop, as I've already said, yes, please for the information before. I best do it something different. So if we say Zoom call, if you just pop in Zoom call in the comments, or you can email me, Mike, MIKE at 2MES. That's the number 2, numeral 2, followed by MES, Mike Echo Sierra.co.uk. So that's Mike at 2MES.co.uk. Just drop me an email with the subject line Zoom call, please. And in addition to that, next year we are launching a new service, which is a complete review of your recruitment process and a detailed report and recommendation on how to receive that. That will be priced at $999. that'll be available from the beginning of February. Now, as a launch, anybody who signs up for our 30-minute reviews, everybody will be put into a hat, and we'll be giving away one free company review. So we will draw that out at the beginning of January. In fact, we will draw that out on our next Q&A live. So if you want the opportunity to firstly just have a 30-minute call, completely free of charge, it'll be in January at a time convenient for yourself. We will go through your recruitment process, and I will give you some recommendations on how you can fill the gaps. I was going to say improve your process. I'm sure your process is very good, but how you can just fill some gaps and make your recruitment process more effective for 2024. And then secondly, everybody that signs up for that half-an-hour call, we will put into a draw, and we'll draw one winner who will receive a full recruitment process and report and guide for implementation. And that is a value at $999. So if you'd like that, $999 plus VAT. So if you'd like a free, an opportunity to gain a free review, please enter the draw. Please book a call. Now, like I say, if you want either the details of the recruitment process so that you can actually review it yourself, or if you would like a call and you're not and you're watching the replay of this, just email me, mike@2mes.co.uk. Does anybody have any questions at all? Let's take this screen off. There we go. If nobody has any questions, then I will say I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. 2M Employment Solutions and 2M Legal will be available up until 1 p.m. next Friday, which I believe is the 22nd of December. Have a fantastic Christmas and New Year, and I'll see you again in 2024. Thanks very much. Goodbye.